Welcome to Next Level Greatness, the podcast. Around here, we'll be talking about all things expansion, going from good to great and from great to greatness. I'm your host, Barbie Collab. Get ready for your next level. Let's do this.
Welcome to Next Level Greatness, the podcast. I am so flippin' thrilled to introduce one of my clients, Sharon MacGregor, who fell out of the sky in November of 2022. And she has been journeying with me since then. You've gone through Unchained, Money Magnet, and now you're also in Empress, which we are about to begin in just a short time. But I wanted to invite you on because your transformation has been so beautiful and deep. And I think a lot of times when we transform or we're on a transformation journey or we're looking to up-level our lives, we think that it's going to happen as a light switch, but it's really more like a caterpillar that metamorphosizes and that turns into a beautiful butterfly. You already are a beautiful butterfly, but I get goosebumps. I'm seeing the process and it's so beautiful. So welcome. Tell us a little bit about yourself. I didn't even say what you do and how you do it and all that, but go ahead. Introduce, if you want to tell your age, anything that you want.
I am so honored to be here. I just have to say on my vision board, this was on it. You didn't know. I also have goosebumps. So my name is Sharon MacGregor and I currently live in North Carolina. But before here, I lived in New York City, which I consider to be like my home. But I was born in Trinidad and I lived there until I was 20. But New York City, it was the place where I feel like I had permission to take the energy of the city and to become whatever it is I thought I wanted to be. So I run a yoga retreat sanctuary in North Carolina, which is completely different than living in Manhattan and doing all the city things. And I also coach divorced women. And the reason that I really chose that segment was because when I got divorced, I was mired in a lot of resentment and anger, thinking I didn't realize the service I was doing to myself. And when I realized I could stay in that for 10 years, I decided that I was going to focus on moving forward with joy and to discard anything that didn't align. I also work with other women because this is something that just appeals to women. We just connect on those themes of emerging and finding your true center and just choosing your joy instead of resentment, anger, regret, and this mistaken thought that I used to have that after I turned 40, that I was going to be on this downswing. And I'm about to turn 56 at the end of the summer. And I feel like I am on a even bigger upswing than I thought I was on when I landed in New York City at 20 years old.
So I love hearing this story. It's so amazing. And I think a lot of times we think that because we've been told we have to niche down, we have to talk to a specific segment of women, but that's one of the things that we'll talk about in Empress actually is that we don't have to say, I only want to work with divorced women. There's nothing like a divorce to really get you to re-examine your life. But in fact, at any age, you can re-examine your life. And you said something else that you were in that stuck state of looking at the bad stuff, basically, right? In the negatives. I don't know if it's a victim mentality, but yeah, looking in the brain.
It was. Yeah. I was happy to be a victim.
Okay, for 10 years. And this, I just got goosebumps again. I think this whole call is going to be about goosebumps because this is one of the many things that I love about aging, that I was also stuck in a certain frame of mind in my business for years where I was afraid to let my masculine energy of doing and building out And to hear you say, as a woman who's going to be 56, I was stuck in this mindset for 10 years. And we need to hear this because there are periods in our life where we do get stuck in a rut and it can last for years. And yet, how beautiful that you were able to get out of that.
Well, the thing is, like, I wasn't the one stuck. I was happy to blame everything and to no accountability at all, because my ex-husband was a Wall Street guy and it comes with a certain level of arrogance. And I just threw it all on him. And 3 years later, I am speaking to someone and she's still bitter and she's still fighting in her marriage. Oh, her marriage was over. And she told me it was 10 years and I thought it was last year. And I said, dear universe, thank you for showing me this, because that's the road I am on if I don't look at my future. And I swear, I think that was the day I decided, what does happiness mean? And the journey started in around 2014 or so.
Oh, I love it. So powerful. And one of the things that I love about you is that you have a high level of awareness. And then once you realize a pattern, you take action. And really, like, if you're listening to this and you're like, okay, how do I make change or bring about change in my life? That if there's a formula, there's no formula for life, but if there's a formula, it's self-awareness, contemplation, and then bust some moves.
It requires honesty. Like, when you look at yourself, I didn't have to. I chose to call up my ex-husband and apologize. Mm-hmm. And he was so taken by surprise because he was not requiring that. But I was taking ownership of my stuff, the stuff I contributed, the stuff that I know that I did, and the buttons I pressed on purpose of his. And once you start taking responsibility, then you can make the change.
Yeah.
So it was sort of like it was a little bit selfish because I was doing that so I could free him, but free me. Yeah. And we are really great friends now. We are excellent friends. And we didn't used to be back in those days.
I mean, how could you, right? If you're busy blaming the other person, how could you? So it's such a delight to speak with you. But let's fast forward to last year, November. I think you were good in your life. So where were you in your business? Because I remember you wrote to me, you're like, you tell the story. I know that you felt like you were like, this was an answered prayer.
You didn't really get because we didn't know each other. I just saw you on Instagram. So I decided to build a business in 2020 and I had everything, I've worked with coaches before and I'm very coachable. So I launched this business in 2020. Everybody knows what happened. My business came out on the other end of that. And I felt like I did everything that the universe was guiding me to do, creating a safe space. I was working with all of my gifts and doing things that I love. And then November came last year and I had no vision of the future because I had done everything I set out to do, except I wasn't making the money. But more importantly, I couldn't figure out where I was missing the thing. And I was like, dear universe, and this is what I do. Dear universe, I need a guide. Every time I have worked with a coach, I have been able to leap. I need a guide. I need to know what else to do. You didn't bring me this far so that I can fold. And I started looking for people. And I honestly swear I found 3 different people. And I went to the podcasts and I listened to the podcasts and I was like, Barbie's it. And the moment I decided that you were it, you launched that surprise
mystery offer.
Mystery. I didn't even know. I hadn't been to your website, but I'm a generator. So it was instantaneous in my sacrum. And the moment you launched it, I just signed up. I'm like, I don't even care if she's just going to sing a song. This is the energy that I need. And I knew it. And there our journey started.
Yeah. So I am just now working on a website. If you had been one of those people that needed a website, I don't even have one right now. And a lot of the women in my spaces, they tend to be like you in the sense that they have been taking a lot of action or none at all. But really, I tend to attract kind of versions of myself where they take a lot of action, but there's like that missing piece. Okay. So I remember it so clearly. And I remember like, who is this woman? I remember you saying that you had, I think, something like $600 left because your business wasn't being profitable. And you knew that this was something that you needed. And so when I was creating the copy and the description of who Empress is for, I really thought of you. And so I want to thank you because the woman who has a business and has every intention of making the business work, but maybe she also has $600 left in her account or whatever, something, a small amount, and the business is not generating income. I don't want to exclude her. I got goosebumps again because that is not my decision to make because I have seen you flourish. And what did you say about this first quarter in your business in 2023? Tell us.
So it was around Christmas time and I was going into my slow period because I run a farm, yoga retreat center. It's mostly outdoors, and Christmas, you can't compete with Christmas. So I was like, I need to make this investment. And I swear to you, the money, somebody paid me something because I had what I needed for my children, for my family, for my Christmas. And this money just came in. I'm like, it's going right, investing that. So I did Unchained. And I swear to you, you didn't even say the name. When you told me the name, again, I got like a blast in my sacrum because I was like, that's it. I feel like I am chained to something in the past, some belief. There's something that's invisible to me that I am chained to, and I need to be unchained. And that word just like hit me. So we did Unchained, and I started January, February, March are my slowest times. It's so far been, I have almost doubled my highest months ever.
Well,
My highest time ever. So that first quarter has now set a new record. I am on track for this second quarter. And I realized today that we still have June. So these would be the quarters where I will be really freaking out. I would be waiting for spring so that I could start something so I can get something going. But that is not what happened. January was pretty awesome. January, February, March, pretty awesome. And I have, since the last thing we did, because I did Money Magnet with you, but then you had a course that the Money Magnet folks could go into.
I Manifest.
So I went directly into I Manifest. And you were saying, like, I don't teach 369 and 555 or whatever. Like, you don't teach those things. And I understand why, because I'm manifesting and it's not about those things. It's really the mindset. I've started to like attract the perfect opportunities have started to come to me. It is completely magical. I have a world-renowned Wim Hof method breath worker.
Wow.
I only talked to him last Thursday before I headed to the beach. And he found me. And I'm like, we need you. 2 weeks is usually not enough to launch anything, but we're going for it. We have so far signed up 10 people at $200 a pop, which is what you were saying in the free course you just did, Sacred Wisdom. It's not the money. I have people coming who know me, who know my farm from 4 hours away just to do this at $200 a pop. It's not the money. And I needed to be in your courses to really rewire that part of my brain.
So let me say, this is so beautiful. So number one, you said that I don't teach the 3-6-9-4 method. So what you meant, because some people might not know what the heck we're talking about. It's the 5-step system, right? I think a lot of times is that what you're referring to? When we enter or when we're in business, we are outsourcing our power and we're looking for someone to tell us, use this script, follow this system, send these emails. And you had done that. You had checked all the boxes. You had done all the things and your business was struggling. And you were even thinking of going back to corporate. I mean, that when you came to Unchained, you were thinking of going back to corporate. And now
I had already interviewed.
I didn't know that.
I'm in London to do something here. Even in the interview, my heart was just breaking.
Oh, actually, you did tell us. Yes, you did tell us. I remember that. That is so beautiful. And then in the masterclass that we did the other day, by the way, if you're listening to this and you want to listen to the masterclass, you can send me a message. But one of the women was saying, how can I sell something when I know that this part of the population is struggling? And I shared that when someone wants to do something, they're going to find a way. My husband is a functional medicine practitioner, and his prices were with that in mind, knowing that he was trying to provide a service for people that were already strained financially. But my point is that he had clients that were taking buses, trains, boats to get to see him, or that were selling their shoes, their clothing, whatever, to be able to make an appointment. And that's point number one. And then the point number two is that there is a buyer for every price point. So if you want to charge $200 or $2,000, as long as you're in alignment with it, and that's what we're going to get into with Empress. So I'm so flippin' happy to see that you are offering services that are really of value to the world, which nothing has changed because you've always offered.
Exactly.
Right? So what do you think it was or is that has allowed you to have this transformation? Like, what is it about you? Like, give yourself all the credit, because the credit is not mine. Like, I love that you called me a guide. I'm a guide. I'm not responsible for your success. I'm not responsible for your failures. Like, I don't take that credit. You are amazing. So what was it about the way that you've approached all these courses?
So one thing I realized was that I learned some really, really valuable things working with you. And I feel like until I had gotten to the point, if I had met you last year this time, it wouldn't be the same, because I had explored everything. I was ready to receive what you were offering, and I couldn't be here before then. The first thing that I stopped doing in November was acting from fear and scarcity. I feel like I didn't even realize that that's what I was doing. So I would see another yoga studio doing something and I would get afraid. Something would hit me and I would go make a post, or I would go create a course or a class. And that was always the wrong energy. So since November, when I felt that way, I did something giving. When I felt that way, I didn't do anything on my business. If it lasted 3 days, well, then it was 3 days, because I didn't want to be taking that energy out into the world, because it was already scarcity. But the other thing that I didn't realize was how much in my masculine I was doing, and I was compounding like negative. It was just working for the sake of working, just grinding. And I left corporate for exactly that same reason. And even when we were talking about being in the feminine, I am in my feminine in my life, but in my business, so many people, and my boyfriend right now, he's a business owner. My ex-husband's very successful, and they're men, and they really are tied into this old school, let's just keep the train running. Don't stop, don't slow down, don't stop. And that never felt good to me. And I did it, but it didn't bring me success or joy.
You just said the two magic words, success and joy. If I can sum it up, because there's a thread that runs through everything that I do in my courses and spaces, it's success and joy. It's not success at no cost. It's not joy without the success. It's both. It's like you get to do things your way. So I'm so freaking happy. Like you literally, you glow, like you radiate. So what's
really that happy? Really that happy?
What shows? I mean, it's so clear. What would you say about the spaces that you've been in with me for anyone that's listening out there?
So the thing that I really love working with you, because just to be clear, so I started in November and I just moved into the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. And I am feeling the shift. I am actually seeing it in my life. The money jumping up and slapping me in the face. Yeah, that's happening. So in working with you, I loved listening to your podcast. And then I would see your reels, your lives, and you literally were always with us, whether you knew who we were or not. So you'd pull off to the side of the road and it made me laugh. And you'd say, okay, guys, I just thought of this thing. And then you would just say what it is that you thought was a value to you that would be a value to us. And I love that. And I found that when we entered into your spaces, you brought that with you when you were going to like teach us something or explore something with us. Basically, because I don't feel you ever took the teacher down to you. You never really took that stance. You were sharing information that you had and guiding and then opening it up for us. But every single time, whatever was in the moment that you found to be important and it actually connected to what you were going to be talking about, you just went with that. And so it was always very live.
It was very, yes. You're so perceptive. I love it. Yeah. So I do have a syllabus because there's the teacher in me. So I have a plan, but if I feel, and you know this because this is what you're saying, if I feel that the class is feeling something, I dump my syllabus and I follow my intuition, and that's our feminine. And you were talking also about how you're in your feminine now in your business, and the feminine is creative. So you've got that masculine energy because we need both, right? The masculine energy of getting things done, doing the structure, all of that. But you've welcomed in the creativity. Like when I look at your Instagram and I see that you offer hot chocolate and yin, I love that. I can see just the joy in the women. Now you're filling up your spaces and just, I just see you connecting with women and nurturing them. It's absolutely so beautiful. And a little secret about what you're saying is that I create my podcast and content for reels with you, my students in mind. So it's to serve. But when we have a class and we talk about all these deep things, it's so personalized. Then when I leave, when the class ends at whatever, 1 p.m. or 1:30 or whatever time it is, I go and I live my life, but I always carry you in my heart. Like I'm thinking of what she said and how it relates to manifesting, how it relates to money, how it relates to energetic. And so I really live what I teach. And another thing you said is I don't talk down because I'm not here to talk down to my little students. No, I'm here to walk shoulder to shoulder with together, hand in hand. Let's freaking do this, right? I might just be a few steps along forward in the journey in a particular area, but yeah. So what is your next level that you're, I want to say hoping, but I know it's going to happen. So it's just a matter of time that you're projecting. There we go. That you are putting on your vision board. The next level, Sharon, what is that you want to work on?
I really have been thinking about this as Empress is drawing near, as I'm thinking about what do I want to be, do, and have. Mm-hmm. After being, doing, and having everything I imagined, I created, which is dumbfounding. If you know my life story coming from Trinidad, the whole thing, like I just decided this was going to happen for me. So now that I have it, I really would like to be one of the top 5 places to come in North Carolina for wellness, but at an exclusive level. In that I want women to be able to, like, we can do the private 5-person retreat Monday to Thursday to Tuesday and really just like get into it. And that will allow me to do the broader things where I can bring in other women from my community and just really make a boatload of money. And I walk into my classes and I'm like, I wish you money. I wish you money. I wish you money. It's Sagittarius season. Oh, let's just get some massage. But I would really love to bring, because there is a feeling in this wellness industry where we cannot be wealthy. And I'm like, what Colleen Yee and Rodney Yee, like I took a class with them. They're beyond wealthy from doing this work. And then I'm able to take a class from them before I'm at the level to be able to pay for private with them. So we can, money just allows us to live fuller, freer lives. And so I am really looking to bring that as a concept to the people who know me.
Okay, 3 things. Rodney Yee, that's who I started yoga with just through videos, the DVDs. No, just through DVDs. Still, we have that connection. I loved him. Number one. Number two, your vision. That's not even number two. That's number one. Oh, your next level vision. Girl, I cannot wait for Empress to begin so that we can dive deep, because Empress, there's going to be content. I don't even know if you know yet because you just signed up, but Empress is going to be content one day. Then there's going to be like a Voxer or Telegram space where you get to connect with all the other Empresses throughout the week. And then at least one day a week, I'm going to get in there to workshop with you. And so we'll get to go back and forth, back and forth. And so I go back to what I said earlier, that when you started, you weren't at this point. So I don't want to close the door to women who have a business and may not be generating money. I think the key thing, if you are thinking about this, is you do have to be willing to take a look at yourself, take a look at your business, and then to implement, because I want you to have your Empress friends to workshop with. And so this is really an invitation for you, if you're listening, if you are a woman in business and you're ready to bring your business to the table with someone, me, who has made 8 figures, and get feedback and insight from me and workshop with the other Empresses in the room that have a vision. And your vision can vary. I mean, it's whatever you want it to be. So I absolutely love your vision. I'm so excited. And I'm so happy to hear that you walk into your yoga studio and that you're like, I wish you money. I wish you money. I wish you money, because you're absolutely right. There is this thinking in the quote unquote healing space in the very broad sense that you can't be a healer or you can't be in the wellness space and make a lot of money. And that's ridiculous, because money is simply about having money so that you can have these experiences and you could do good. You can do good. You can do whatever you want with your money, whether you're giving it away or going on trips. And there's nothing wrong with that either. So I'm so thrilled. Anything else you want to share before we close out?
One of the things that I think was life altering for me, I was very afraid of the subconscious, right? Because it's working like underneath your consciousness. It's doing things, it's leading your life. 85% of your decisions, like all of those things made me feel so helpless. But then when I started taking your class, I realized it is not impossible to change it. And there are strategies to do it. And regular, normal folks, you're lucky if you can go and get a hypnotist to make you something for you. But you gave us some resources on a page.
Yeah.
And I teach that now. I teach it in my women's circle, the forgiveness.
Yeah.
And the value of forgiveness is to free yourself and the other person and make space for new things. And I feel like that has transformed my life.
Oh, so beautiful. So yeah, I'm not a therapist, and I always say that at the beginning of my courses. So it's not about being somebody's therapist or talk therapy. We use tools that are readily out there. And so I remember some angry person on the internet saying, like, I can't believe you charge for your courses. Like, this information is out there. You can Google it, which is an interesting and a separate conversation with AI that you can basically type something in. But what I also teach and what I believe and stand for is that we each have a unique frequency, and that you can't replicate that. You can't duplicate that. There's something just so special that happens in our private containers. And I'm so excited. I'm so thankful. And I just want to say thank you, Sharon. I love you. I really do. I love watching you grow, and it's just beautiful. And I can't wait to see your vision come true. I mean, the year is young and we're not putting a timeline on it, but if I can see the future, I can see already the year is going to end so powerfully for you.
I can feel there's a shift. There's an energy build that's happened. Yes. That we're ready. I don't know exactly what the end of the year is going to look like, but it's going to be spectacular.
It is. Yes.
Amazing. It's going to be amazing.
Yes.
So thank you so much. I'm so looking forward to beginning Empress.
Oh, thank you. All right. Thank you for joining us. The link is below if you are like, hell yes, I am ready. And I will see you next time.
If you loved this episode and if you're loving my podcast, I would love for you to leave a review. They really do make a difference in spreading the word and having more people be impacted. Also, I'd love for you to join me in my Facebook community called The Magnetic Portal. You can find the link in the show notes. I'll see you next time.